Welcome to Soul Talk with Sonia. I'm Sonia, and this is part five of transitioning from singleness to marriage. And I have a special guest, my husband, and he has a question for the single ladies. All right.
Hey, ladies, for those of you that are dating
Or
or courting, what boundaries are you setting for yourself going into that arena? In other words, are there um, things that you've set for yourself in terms of lines that you won't cross? Um, and are those boundaries or those standards in line with your walk? If you are saved, if you are a Christian, are they in step or in line with God's will? I'd like to know that.
what boundaries do you think they need to set?
Well, um, number one, if you're a Christian woman looking to date, get into the dating scene, um,
Or courtship?
or courtship,
We're anti-dating.
yeah. If you are looking to get into that field, you're ready to get out there. There are certain things that God says in terms of how you should carry yourself. Um, so that's one. I think there's the things that a woman should look into in terms of how she should interact with men and so forth.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, what I mean is maybe you might want to consider how you dress, uh, how you come across in terms of your what's the word I'm looking for?
Appearance?
Appearance, but also how you speak. You know, your communication says certain things about you as well.
What do you mean?
So,
Give them some examples.
some examples. Uh, some women. All right. Do you cuss? Do you just let anything come out of your mouth? And when you're interacting with men because you think they really don't care or they don't really have any standards in terms of interacting with women, um, things like that. I know there are some women that probably have assumptions about um, what men care about or the things that they um, don't care about when it comes to women, and a lot of times they find themselves on the wrong side of the situation because, well, I thought he didn't really care, or I thought that didn't really matter. So when I said so and so or said such and such, that really kind of, he kind of looked at me kind of funny, or it was a turnoff for him. And so, ladies, sometimes you really have to do your research in terms of how to interact with a man, especially if it's been a long time. You're really ready to get out there, and you want to find that special someone for yourself. So, in, sometimes you just have to take stock of who you are. Be confident in who you are. I'm not saying to put on airs or to go out there and have an avatar right in front of you and not really be real and honest and 100 with him. But I am saying that you really have to kind of look at yourself, look at the relationships that you currently have with men, even though you're not dating, and ask yourself, well, what does that look like? And then go from there.
Because sometimes there are some women that didn't grow up without a father, so they don't really know how to interact with the man.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying they should know how to dress a certain way because the man don't want to see everything. Maybe
That's
leave
right.
something to his imagination. How
Mm-hmm.
to communicate? Anything else with boundaries?
As far as boundaries, again, what are the boundaries that you have set for yourself? Um, if you're looking to have God in the middle of this and in helping you to find a spouse, for those of you that are courting, um, yeah, what are the boundaries that have you set? Boundaries such as, again, there's boundaries in appearance, there's boundaries in behavior, and that's not only for you but also for him. Um, what are the red flags? Because in setting those standards and setting those boundaries, there's bound to be red flags that pop up that let you know that, oh, maybe this is not the person, or this is not the guy that I'm really interested in. Have you set yourself up in a way to successfully enter in or exit a relationship because of what you've observed? And basically, and, it's a good way to go in to the dating scene. Don't just go in all willy nilly. Go in with a strategy. So basically, I'm asking you, what's your strategy? I sure would like to hear that.
Hmm. Also, what are your boundaries as far if you're celibate? Because if you're not celibate, then you really don't have any physical boundaries. But if you are celibate, then you have to decide what all you can handle. So that may mean only going to public places. You know, if you're at his house, leaving by a certain time. I'm not going up to his bedroom. We're just going to stay in his living room. Or if he's at my house, vice versa. Certain movies you're not going to watch, right? You can't watch, what's that movie?
Love Jones.
Love Jones. I didn't see it. It was too sexy for me. The one with Dakota Johnson. Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about, that movie. Okay. There's certain movies you don't need to watch that are very sexual. So you need to stick to dramas and comedies. Because you're there at his house, he's at your house, his movie comes on, it's very sexualized. Let's say, you're kissing, touching. So can you only handle a peck? It's tonguing too much for you. So you need to know the physical boundaries too, or else, because you don't want to slip up. You don't want to set your celibacy back, right? And if you slip up, God's going to forgive you, right? But then you have to deal with you, right?
Exactly.
You don't want that. So, and some people can spend the night over each other's houses. Some can't. You know, he's in his bedroom. You're in the guest room. Some people can handle that. Some people can't. So you have to know what you can handle or else. So if you can put in the comments, what are your boundaries? Do you have any questions about boundaries? We'll be happy to answer them. But you need to have some type of standard set for yourself or else. Failure to plan it means you plan on failing, right? And so you have to have, as Moses had said, a strategy for boundaries, your appearance, because you think that, oh, I need to show skin, I need to impress him. No, you need to cover up. Leave something to the imagination, because you don't want to. If you're celibate, you don't need to be putting out here. And he think that you out there, and then you celibate. So that's a mismatch. He's like, that don't even make sense. How you were dressing, you celibate. And so guys pay attention to those things, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Celibate, you look like that? I don't know. You send quite, a lot of mixed signals. And so we we see those things, we notice those things. So, again, you just really have to be on top of your strategy for how you're going to get out there and present yourself. So,
question for you: what did you notice about me?
I noticed that she was very kept. She, was together. There was an energy about you. There was, I knew that she had a really, really good relationship with God. I could tell. And so those were the things, among other things, those what really attracted me to you. So
how did you tell I had a good relationship with God?
I don't know. It was more of a sensing or knowing, because we hadn't really talked a whole lot initially, but these were things that sometimes God will nudge you and say, "Hey, all right, I'm tight with this person," and you know how some people can just be around you and know that you're not like the average person. You're a regular person or a regular girl, a regular guy, but there's something different about you. People pick up on that, and so without saying too much, You know, if you're in a relationship with God and it's really, really tight, some people, you know, and if someone else is in a relationship with God and is real tight, y'all kind of vibe, y'all know each other, so you can tell.
Okay. Thank you so much to Lamont for being a guest.
My pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in to Soul Talk with Sonia. And I have previous videos on celibacy versus dating. Courtship versus dating. I also have a video on celibacy. I talk about masturbation, how to be celibate, pornography. I have a video on that. And I have a lot of videos. So we will be back. I don't know when, or I'll be back. I don't know when. But thank you so much for tuning in, and be blessed and have a happy new year.